Welcome back to Harmony Yoga. I'm Julie Farmer. If you're just joining me for the first time, welcome. This is totally a come as you are class. So I've been out walking and I'm going to go out walking again when we're done. It's a beautiful day here in Cottonwood Heights, Utah. And so I'm trying to take advantage of as much of that great weather as I can. Today is All Souls Day in the Catholic faith tradition, and maybe other faith traditions as well. But today, particularly, my dad died about 6.5 weeks ago, and so today my family in Iowa is going to be able to celebrate that at a special mass. And I came back early. I've been in Iowa, being there with my mom, and just kind of helping things transition a little bit. But I came back early so that I could be here, especially with the rising coronavirus cases and whatnot. So yeah, our world is a little bit crazy right now, right? There's a lot going on. Another act of violence in Germany I just saw. So wow, in the midst of all of that we keep hearing, we really need to protect ourselves, protect our central nervous system. Yoga is really a great way to do that. It brings us back to those things that we know are eternal. We know that they are unchanging within ourselves. We can go back to that place of peace. So Father John at St. Thomas More here in Cottonwood Heights, Utah, spoke today about the All Souls Day, faith, hope, and charity. So I know this is a universal thought, no matter what faith tradition you uphold and follow. Faith, hope, and charity, who doesn't want those things, right? So he says today, when we take time for silence and reflection, hope wells up within us. The idea being that maybe it's hard to find hope when we're not taking time for silence. If we're getting caught up into the news cycle, which continues to just feed us alarming news, and you know, whether we even know whether it's true or not, we hear it, and sometimes we can't. Our central nervous system can't help but believe what either we tell it or what it hears. So we kind of want to be a little bit careful about what we're inputting into our body through our ears and through what we see and what we hear. So I love that. We're going to take time for silence today, letting that hope well up within us. In our imperfect world with much chaos, we actually can be the light in the darkness. So when we take time for our practice and we start to feel that hope and that light within us, we really can't help but shine it out to the world around us. And I think our world so desperately needs that today. So today we find hope in eternal peace and happiness for our loved ones who have gone before us, and for those who are left mourning. We find hope in the eternal. We find hope in connection with other people. We find hope in our beliefs and in our faith. And so may we reflect on those things today that bring us hope, whatever that might be for you and your faith tradition, or maybe you share in some of the sentiment that I just shared with you. Maybe that is something that warms your heart. So may we find hope and promise, seeking virtue in the graceful transitions in our life. And I think of that in life and in death, and even in our world and the things that are constantly transitioning. So we really are never stuck if we step into the flow of our constantly transitioning selves, our world, especially within ourselves. We're constantly growing if we allow ourselves. So go ahead and close your eyes, sit up nice and tall, allow the spine to elongate. And thinking of those who have gone before us today on this special day, may we find that grounding and uplifting at the same time. So feeling the earth beneath you, and then allow that energy to rebound up through the spine, opening the heart, opening the throat, even taking the head back so the weight of the head rests on the spine. Finding ease in this posture, letting go a little bit with the breath. Can you let go more with the next exhale? And the next. in the silence, may hope and light and levity begin to swell the heart space, begin to open the mind, and keep us growing uplifted and light. Bringing the hands together in front of the heart, I invite you to bow toward that heart space, toward that space that might feel a little bit lighter with just a few breaths, or perhaps it'll take a little bit of movement here in the class today to get you in that direction. And when you're ready, release your hands, lift your head, and then we're going to come to a child's pose to start with here. Knees are wide, big toes touching. Let your hips come back to your heels if that feels comfortable, or another way to do it is to keep the hips lifted. So either way here, releasing the forehead to the earth, or if your forehead doesn't easily come to the earth, just stack your forearms. Again, you can use a brick. You could put a brick, a little block, or some books stacked under your forehead. Coming up out of this posture, walk your hands forward, curl the toes under, and lift up to downward facing dog. So here with purpose and intention, spread your fingers wide and press down through the finger pads. So you're not kind of dumping here into the wrist, but you're actually engaged, extending the hands forward so the arms are long. We're opening up the channels of energy here. Hug the arms together. Lift and separate your toes. Push down through the ball of the big toe and spread your little toes out to the side. And transition back to child's pose. One more time, lifting up now to down dog. Step your feet forward. Shift your hips back, reach up to chair pose. And then push down, rise up, bring the hands to the heart. So flowing with the breath here, inhale, lift the arms up to the sky. Exhale, sweep your arms down and in front. We're going to do this a few times. Inhale up, so letting the movement match the breath. Opening up the channels for energy, for breath, for blood flow. Let's do one more round here. Good, and coming to the front of your mat, inhale, lift the arms up to the sky. Exhale, fold over, forward fold. Shift your weight over onto your left foot, bend your right leg, and push the right leg up toward the sky. Standing split. Good. Exhale down. Shift the weight to the right foot. Bend your left and push, lifting that foot up to the sky. One more deep inhale. Good. And exhale, release down. Inhale, lift halfway up. And exhale, release down. Step back again to downward facing dog. Inhale deeply. Exhale, come forward to plank. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Let's do one more time. Bending your elbows, lowering down to the belly, drag the hands back, lift the heart forward. Exhale, release down. Curl the toes under, lift back up to down dog. This time, lift the right leg up toward the sky, and exhale, bring the right knee to the right elbow, and exhale back up. Again, inhale forward, and exhale back. Take a child's pose. We'll go to the second side here after 2 breaths, long, slow, steady breath. Exhale out. Inhale. Releasing that extra energy. Pull back up to down dog. Lift the left leg up. And knee to the elbow. Using the breath here. Inhaling up. Exhaling forward. Good. Step that foot forward. Forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway up. And exhale, release down. Inhale, bring the hands to the hips, elbows to the sky. Inhale and rise. All right, nice job. Take a wide stance on your mat. So we're going to take the right foot, toes forward toward the long end of your mat, and the left foot, toes toward the short end of your mat. So now your feet are perpendicular. Bending into the left knee, bring your left forearm to the left thigh, right hand to the right hip. Move your hips back. Scoop the tailbone. Open the heart. Turn and look up over the right shoulder. So keep trying to take the right shoulder back. You can stay here or reach the arm up to the sky or even over the ear. Looking down toward the foot, straight ahead or up under the armpit, whatever feels comfortable for you here today. Good. Cartwheel your hands to warrior two. So feel the strength of the legs. Again, we stand on the shoulders of those who have gone before us, right? So feel yourselves pushing down into the earth and letting that thought lift you up so your heart is open, your legs are strong. Good. Make your feet parallel. Come into wide-legged forward fold. So you can grab your ankles here. You can have your hands on the floor, a block. You can even have your hands on a chair or a counter here. Same idea. Walk yourself over now to the other side. So now your right toes are facing the short end of your mat. Left foot toes are facing the long end of your mat. And bring your right forearm to your right thigh. Left hand to your left hip. Turn and look up. Take the shoulder back. Or you can turn and look down to your foot or anywhere in between. So listen to what's going on in your neck and put your head in a place that feels comfortable. Hand can stay here, reach up to the sky or over the ear. Take a deep breath in. Cartwheel your hands up now to warrior two. Push down through the feet, lift and open the heart. Good, make your feet parallel. Come back to that wide-legged forward fold. And bend your knees. Bring yourself down to the mat and hug the knees into the chest. So staying here or coming onto your tippy toes, attempt to lift the low back in and up and lift the heart. Again, think about grounding yourself into the earth and allowing that rebound to come up the spine, opening the heart. So staying here, or you can grab behind the knees, make the shins parallel to the floor, or you can come into boat pose. Squeeze your legs together, extend your arms long, lift the low back, lift the heart. Lift and separate your toes. Can you see the difference there versus kind of hanging out versus extending out? Good. Cross your left foot in front of your right and extend yourself forward. A little forward fold here. And walk yourself up. Let's do that again. Hug the knees in. Maybe that's your posture. This is a great posture here. When you hug in, can you feel your low back lift and the heart lift, the spine elongate, even reaching up through the crown of the head? So we want to keep that length. So if you start to lose it, just go backwards here. Otherwise, progress with me if you like, grabbing behind the knees. So I'm still lifted and buoyant here. If I start to collapse, I know I've got to come back, right? Here, and you can go one leg and the other, or one at a time, or both together. Lift and separate the toes, extend the legs long, lift and open the heart, extend the arms, good, and then cross the right in front of the left, and go ahead and fold over. Good, slowly walk yourself back up and go ahead and come down onto your back. So here, feet are hips width apart and walking in towards your hips. Press the elbows down, lift the heart. Press the hands down, lift the hips up to bridge pose. Walk your shoulders underneath you. Scoop the tailbone towards your knees. Attempt to push your feet away from you. Good. Lower your hips. Hug the knees into your chest. Take the knees now over to the right. Outstretch your left arm. In fact, this is what I would invite you to do, is bring your left arm up to the sky, palm facing forward. Create some length between your hip and your armpit, and then take the shoulder back, then open the arm out to the left. Let your torso gently turn and open. So you're opening the chest, the shoulder, you're twisting the spine, and then I like to place my right hand gently on the left knee. Check in with the breath here. Hug the knees into the chest, and let's roll the knees out to the left, right arm up to the sky, palm facing over to the left, and then create this long side body, rotate the shoulder back, and then open the arm out. So it doesn't need to reach overhead, it's just reaching straight out. So you've got a long line from the chest all the way out the arm, and then press it into the earth. Left hand can go on the right knee, twisting the spine, opening the chest and the shoulder. Close the eyes here, turn inward, finding a little bit of silence here. Feel the earth now embracing you, embracing your extra tension. Just let it go to the earth. Slowly come back to center, walk the legs out, press the elbows down again, walking the shoulders underneath. Let your arms come down to the earth with the palms face up. In this act of receiving, as well as an act of letting go. So that is something I learned when my dad died, is that when he didn't cling to life, he had a more peaceful death. And I know that he loved Shavasana. He always loved Shavasana. This is what this pose is. It's actually called corpse pose. So when we learn how to settle peacefully into this pose of surrender, a pose of acceptance, we really are training for the day when either we or a loved one faces death, and we realize what we're clinging to might not be serving us. So in this place today, maybe you can think of something that you're clinging to that maybe is really not serving you, that you could just gently let go and find a little more peace, a little more release, a little more hope, and a little more light. You may stay in this Shavasana position as long as you like. That's a beautiful pose. Or bring your feet down to the floor and hug your knees in, rolling over onto the right side. Pausing here for a breath or two, and then coming up to a seated position. So if you are still lying in your Shavasana, that's a wonderful, wonderful position to be in. And if you have the time and the fortitude to be there, go for it. A lot of us tend to skip right over that, and it's something that's so nurturing for us. So take the time to nurture yourself and embrace these things that our culture really doesn't teach us, right? We learn these through ways outside of our traditional training. And yoga is one of those things. So I am so grateful for you to be here today to share in this teaching with me. And I just offer you grace and hope for our tomorrow. Thank you for being here.